But Grace, I believe we have some map bans.
We do indeed have the map bans. Producer, if you will. Thank you very much. I wish the audience could hear the producer in areas like we could. Quite amusing. Clubhouse Bank being not another bank or Villa. We're getting a absolute mixy matchy this evening. We're getting a pick a mix of maps. We are indeed going to Coastline. Note that Chalet and Coastline were both left at the end, both attacker favored maps. So it really looked like people were battling out for that attacker advantage with these bans. So this is quite interesting indeed. Six ultimately being the ones to make the decision as to where we are going, and they've decided to bin off Chalet for Coastline, which is a statement. If you're picking Coastline over any other map, that is always no one would ever see that and be like, that is, yeah, that's fine. No, that is a statement. A very aggressive map, a very, very aggressive map. We have seen a lot of aggression this evening already. And certainly, again, we are expecting barn burners for the rest of the evening, judging on how the first two games went. Um, Coastline. Wow. I think this is
Yeah.
going to be good. This is going to be good, Dino, indeed. And again, I do like the changes to Coastline, and I think we were speaking about this over the last few weeks where, now that you have that kind of external wall from VIP balcony, it is a little bit more favorable to bring like a Firmlight or an Ace or something like that. To bring a solid hard breach. Previously, you didn't really have to bring a solid hard breach. You could just bring like a secondary hard breach utility, if that. Maybe bring like a Capital, the stick a Capital on the end, it'll be fine. But now you can actually, it is fair enough to bring
Hmm.
that solid hard breach. Again, Hell in a Cell, as I often refer to it, because it's the smallest map in the map pool. And when you have it being so aggressive, where you have your enemy within a room or two of you at all times, um, the amount of gunfights that can go down, the amount of quick peaks that can go down, certainly the kind of map where you want to be getting those cheeky shots for your show reel. Uh, I think this is going to be nice, Dino. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to be getting on into the action right about now. So we're going to be going to game. We get to see what these operator bans are going to be. I'd just like to bring up the fact that Gypsy Queens have already played Coastline, I believe, yep, twice so far this season. Once against Lost Souls where they won, and once last week up against Sparkle Team where they lost in quite a convincing fashion. So they were one of the more experienced teams when it comes to Coastline. Mixed results and outcomes, but it's going to be Six Nations' first showing and could potentially be, some extra spice coming through from the side of Six Nations, as we are going to see Gypsy Queens ban out that zero.
Spice on a Thursday night. It's almost like it's Balti night. Jackal also getting banned out. I don't know how I feel about that though. Don't know how I feel. I get it, but also it's like, okay, fair enough. If we're gonna, banning out Jackal when you do have that kind of, global utility on a small map. Often you do see global abilities when being brought to the small one because it can pin people down. But again, I think that maybe, teams bringing that might be a little bit of overkill here and there. But they have chosen to ban it out anyway. They're also banning the Valkyrie on defense, and Gypsy Queens. What will they ban on their defense? I reckon maybe a Kaid or like something Intel again. No, a Miradino.
I gotta stick with the classic sometime. Mirror, this is. Well, I guess every map's her map, really, is she can just completely change everything up. But this is the map that she was released with, and this basically turns Penthouse from being a really, really strong, almost defender-sided objective to, at some points, almost unplayable. So, that's just the impact that Mirror can have. And if you don't want to deal with that, just get her off the board, get her gone, get her out of there. That's going to be the case here, as we are going to start off in Hookah.
Hookah indeed. Again, a more preferable place to start, I think. I think 9 times out of 10. I don't know what the actual statistic is, because that's a lot of data to crunch over the last 6 years. But I'm pretty sure that, like, majority of the time people are starting on that site. It's a nice, comfortable site to start at. And again, got The main approaches to attacking this, you're going to be taking the IP control and then pushing from either a hookah balcony or aquarium, or both, to be honest, applying extra pressure. It is such a small map that you can go for these multi-dimensional attacks and approaches, as long as, again, you know exactly where you want to be planting, typically in that billiards area by the bomb. I think that realistically, hook is a little bit harder to plant in. But often you do people go for those kind of social plants instead. And here we go. As you can see, Wamai Bandit reinforcing the wall there. The new wall, the spicy new wall.
It's a good wall. I like that wall.
It is, and you know what? I really would like to see how it develops going forward and how maybe Penthouse is a little bit more viable now compared to previous seasons. So
yeah, could definitely open things up indeed, but for the time being we're going to see 6IXNATION choose to completely ignore that nice new wall and all of our fun conversation about said nice wall, and they're instead going to go over towards the aqua bar area for now. So we do have Straub sitting around inside of Sunrise on the sledge instead of the buck, so can't open up the floorboards and make things difficult, but it's going to be the rest of the team gaining that downstairs lateral control coming on in through the office and sunroom. Then just make sure that they're going to be ready to go for those attacks and plays onto the site.
Absolutely, Lisa here with the skeleton key, ready and waiting to catch any defenders off guard and start making an absolute ruckus when she can. A little bit of a standstill considering this is coastline. Round 1 on coastline. A little bit of passiveness, I'd say, when it needs to be a bit more aggressive. Stelina, though, getting the opening pick there onto Claudbury on the Nomad nonetheless as well. A useful operator, actually, for this map, indeed. I know that Claudbury did get some Nomad air jabs down before we could really get into it, but Skylar's going to get dropped as well in retaliation. Lisa getting the nice little pick there. And both sides, again, it's still 4-4, but... And I know we've had well, I was going to say, I know we've had picks, but it's a little bit stagnant, but trades are starting to come through now, Dino. Sundra getting the pick on the Ezia, Selena trading around to Syria, Sundra on Selena again, Sheila and Pink Angel cleaning up Straub and Sundra. It's all left down to Lisa in a 1v2, round number 1. Diffuser pretty far away.
Yeah, Diffuser's inside of the objective, but Lisa's going to get that kill onto Pink Angel, and now with 50 seconds to go, plenty of time to get this to work. Drones at her disposal, as well as flashbangs trying to bait out the sound cue, force some movement out of the Thunderbird, try and get her to play aggressive. Diffuser's been recovered, so could go for a plant if the time starts to go down. It's going to try and bait out the audio cue. The C4 gets ripped, the tip of the head is seen, but the shots aren't landed. And these are going to back on away and go for the reload. Follow-up flashbang to go on through. Going to double up this time. Doesn't swing with it, though. Is aware that we could have players stuck in the corner. The swing comes through, and Lisa hits the shots. 6IXNATION started off strong, but got rough in the middle before coming in with Lisa and the 1 versus 2 to clean it up.
Yeah, good work there coming in from Lisa, using that utility, getting the flash off and a bit of sound cover as well, so she could sneak up and take Ganshelia off guard. We do love to see it. Very nice cleanup at the end there.
Yeah, but like you say, it was a very slow start to Coastline, and for bringing a buck to the map and gaining control of that blue bar, they didn't really do anything with it. There wasn't that sort of opening up the floor while someone was rappelling out on the big window, or opening up inside of Aqua while someone's on the Aqua balcony, to really force these rotations and get those picks there. So kind of interested to see what 6IXNATION were waiting for. What would they need for that buck to then start actually opening up those floor balls?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess this is a little bit of intel needed, really. A little bit of intel needed. They do have the Geminis here, and they do have, obviously, the drones as well. I don't know how much worth it would be to bring a Flores, really. I think, like, realistically, with all the map pool, I think this would be... Again, it depends on the setup, and I think that the majority of sites, unless you're attacking maybe, like, kitchen, Yes, the floor res is useful, but it's not particularly, super useful and strong, as it would be on, say, like a cafe.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely work in place of a buck, and I think if we don't see Lisa's sort of skeleton key come into play in these upcoming rounds, I potentially it would be a very strong move to go for. But for the time being, we are going to see a very similar fate coming through from 6IXNATION, getting control of this downstairs area, droning out office and sunroom and security, and we're going to see them probably make their way on in there and see what they can do.
Absolutely. Again, though, it's interesting. I always expect people to be super fast and furious with this map, and sometimes there is a little bit of hesitance in that first minute. Again, understanding that people are getting all that intel into their pocket and they want to be ironing out every single nook and cranny and trying to hunt down some of these roamers, but I think just a little speedier would be quite nice. See?
We are seeing the switch up though this time from Gypsy Queens, as they had at one point 3 players looking at that security hallway, trying to see if they can catch someone out, but now Skylia is trapped close to this kitchen door as Isira gets the kill onto Stelina elsewhere. Now Straub just going to be holding this angle down. Sunja is going to lose a lot of HP elsewhere. Straub getting aggressive as Ganshila gets that kill onto Sunja, and the peek from Skylia gets that frag, and now it is a 4 versus 3 in favor of Gypsy Queens.
Absolutely, and again, it's all about positioning really, and just making sure that you are in a kind of advantage in these situations. Good for the defense to kind of pull this back though, and again, it's all left down to Lisa and Assyria. There's the intel there's the intel utility, and they do have that Vert utility too. They just have to try and get relatively close together, try and stack up a little bit, and try and get that plant down so someone can cover.
As Sarah loses a lot of HP, down to just 1 point of health, it's going to be Skylia to get the kill onto Lisa, who was the cover, and then Bandit to swing on around and clean that one up, as it's going to be the defense able to pull around back.
1 for 1 thus far going into this. I mean, again, so far I think it's been very strong on both sides, and I think that it's still too early to determine where this is going to go. I kind of feel probably after this round we'll have more of an idea, but again, I think both sides are doing a really good job. I just think that sometimes these gunfights or these picks that are happening, it is coming down a lot of the time to positioning. If you know where someone is, and maybe you want to get a bit of an advantage, so you're going to push them a little bit. Maybe just take a little bit of a different angle. So if they do decide to go for the pre-fire, it's less easy for them, I suppose. Or you could really catch them off guard, to be honest, by almost baiting them into a position where you're like, okay, I'm just going to go here, and then if they peek out, they're going to think that I'm getting passive, so then they'll get aggressive, and then I can catch them off guard.
Well, that's like, well, I know that you know that you know that I know.
It is a little bit, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. And where does that ever end?
10 seconds left.
You know?
5 seconds to go.
I feel like my brain's broken. I'm not gonna lie. My brain has just died. Like,
Objective to defuse a bomb.
Right.
Been fully overwhelmed by these barn burners at this point that it's just jam. It's just jam up there now.
Defender is exposed.
Oh, cheeky run out coming through from Skylia though, doesn't manage to land a shot onto anyone though, but at least they now know they're not pushing from ruins, at least from what she could see.
Yeah, I do believe that we did see potentially earlier on a similar sort of run out coming through from someone else on Gypsy Queens, as we are going to have this control being taken up by 6IXNATION. Nice little rappel onto the roof there after opening up that nice new lovely wall that we were going on about so much earlier on. As now, this is going to be top floor control almost entirely in the hands of 6IXNATION. There is a little bit of pressure still being applied from the far side of the map. The north or the southwest even. I'll get there eventually. Is Zia going to be firing some shots through the wall, seeing what she can find, as we are going to have that Oryx still playing around close to luggage, attempting to catch anyone on the rotates. But 6Nation don't need to directly contest this if they can hold these players in place.
Absolutely. That play coming through now from Lisa. Again, a really good position to be in when she's got that control. Start applying that pressure vertically. Very little the defense can do unless they've got a C4. I mean, we've got Ganshila with a C4, but... Oh, there we go. Just narrowly missing Yaz. Or was it Yaz? No, it was Selena. GYPSY is going to get the pick onto Corbury. Iseria is also going to retaliate there as well. The thing is, here that's concerning me is that they are wasting a lot of time upstairs, that there's no setup maybe around the site yet. Oh, there we go. They are going to start setting up around that. Sunja's going to get the nice pick there onto Ganshila, and they're going to use some utility to try and clear that bathroom area as well. Realistically, at this point, you can kind of start to put the feelers out and suss out where various people are. I think Straub is aware of the person at the top of Cool Vibe stairs.
And the yellow ping is going out, gonna mean that there is at least some knowledge of the situation, as Lisa's still trying to hold down this top floor angle. The man advantage in favor of 6Nation does mean that they should be able to get a plant down if they go for it soon, as Lisa's going to be able to get that kill from up above. And now it is a 2 versus 4. Both of these players inside of Gypsy Queens are removed from the site. Stelina trying to work her way on in, gets taken down immediately as Scalia now left standing over by the blue bar, but the peak into Iseria isn't going to get you anything other than shot.
Yes, indeed. They say patience is a virtue. I think, although it does come across as a little bit hesitant at times, there is a lot of patience coming through from 6 right now in order to make their approach towards site. And again, they're doing a really good job of it. Lisa's doing a really good job today as well on that bug. He really is.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, after that first round, Lisa on the buck, I was thinking, you're not really getting a lot of use out of the actual skeleton key and the verticality that can provide. But in the last 2 rounds, despite the, the fact that it may not have been directly influencing every single aspect, it was still really useful all the way throughout. And yeah, I like what 6Nation are doing with it now.
Absolutely.
By attackers.
Gypsy Queen's choosing to go back towards this kitchen and service area, though, and again, it is such a pet peeve of mine, Dino. It is such a pet peeve of mine. They've just gone through it. They've just gone through the motions, but muscle memory is going to be nice and strong. If you don't throw anything significantly different into the works now, what's the point?
10 seconds left before insertion.
Perhaps we might, to be honest, perhaps we might see a cheeky spawn peek again. We did
5
see,
seconds to go.
I think it was the linear go for
Attackers are
cheeky
heading
Oryx
out to
spawn
defuse a
peekies in the previous rounds. And indeed on that Rook, they do have the health advantage if they want to try something a little bit bolshy like that. But looks for now like they're just kind of staying on site.
Yeah,
Start the round and no one's upstairs, or are they?
I mean, from Gypsy Queen's last round, they had those 2 players up top and didn't really get anything out of it because they were just trapped on the far side of top floor. But I don't think that the correct response to that is to then just let's hide inside the site. I think it's let's be more aggressive at the start of the round. Let's be where they're going to come from initially, and attack them inside a VIP. Try and hold down a bit of that penthouse and get aggressive there. But that's not going to be the case. And 6Nation, to their credit, aren't even going for the same push this time around. They are switching it up and looking like they're going to go for a blue bar kitchen push.
Yes, indeed. We do like a little bit of a mixy-uppy. At the same time, this maybe will keep the Gypsy Queens a little bit off guard, going again directly for that jugular. Skylar's in a nice position, however, in that garden. Perhaps this will catch someone a little bit off guard, but she didn't actually react to the Gemini coming through. So she might actually be undetected right now and could really cause some carnage. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think she should have pulled off there, Dino. I think she would have caused a little bit of an upset if she stayed there.
I think she got maybe a little bit detected and just sort of went, no, not dealing with this, not going to hang around and see if I can get anything else. Just going to play safe. And, you know, Gypsy Queens, they are around down at the moment. And I think if playing aggressively in this particular situation, it could work against you as you're trying to recover that round advantage. And as long as all 5 of you are alive, it's going to work on Alpha. Selena's going to get the kill onto Lisa, but Sun just walked on in, got the kill onto one before being taken down by, again, Sheila. It's now 4 versus 2. Gypsy Queen's patience and lack of aggression is paying off. For Skylia has worked her way back inside of that courtyard position that you were just referring to and is going to get a kill for it. But now with the diffuser lost deep inside of the site, it is just Claudebury left alone in a 1 versus 4. The peak coming round from behind. And that's going to be Gypsy Queens evening us out now at a 2-2.
Yes, indeed.
Or
Kind
a
of being
Desmond.
A Desmond?
Yeah, a Desmond. Desmond Tutu. An actual person.
Desmond Tutu. I don't think who that is.
The South African cleric.
Oh.
I
Are you? I know why you expect thanks.
no.
Thanks. I see how it is. That's how you expect me to know it.
What? No. What?
Rude. Anyway.
Okay. We'll talk about this afterwards.
Yes, we will. As we can see, I think realistically, maybe changing up the approach wasn't the best of ideas for 6 there.
Hmm.
Perhaps indeed it was not. I think that again, just getting that control first, and
Attackers need to locate
it's a
and
little bit
defuse
tricky
as many
because I
bombs
think
as they
that
can.
the aggression into that kitchen window to actually just be like, okay, let's just go in, I'll kill some people and get the plant down. It's like, that's good and all, but get that intel underway too. Maybe have an extra person droning you out as you do that. Or at least droning more towards the service area.
Yeah. And I think for Gypsy Queens, regardless of how that last round, you know, whether 6 Nation made the right call in switching up their push or not,
10 seconds
I
left
think,
before insertion.
you know, I'll say I was wrong. I thought the Gypsy Queens would have been better
5
trying to go
seconds
more
left.
aggressive, but in fact, playing passively and not allowing 6 Nation to get any sort of free gunfights and forcing everything into a double team and 6 Nation to get sort of needlessly aggressive or over aggressive, that's what really worked well for Gypsy Queens.
Absolutely. The thing, it's interesting because I kind of feel like we're at a weird, evenly even matchup right now. It feels in terms of like again aggression from both sides. Neither team being particularly aggressive. Everyone's being very. I'm gonna say the word safe. I suppose. I think that's the best way to describe it. But ooh, was that a wallbang? No, it wasn't.
No, that was someone else. But Straub is going to get the lead off kill onto Pink Angel.
Yes, indeed. And again, it's this patience. The slow and steady wins the race both on both sides. And I'm curious to see if someone suddenly throws a spanner in the works on the side of Gypsy Queens, how that would change. But again, I'm wondering when 6 go onto their own defense, if they start getting super turbo aggressive,
Ooh.
that will benefit. Skylia potentially about to get caught a little bit off guard, but no, Yazzie is going to get into the fight with Assyria, and there we go. Skylia is actually going to remain alive in this encounter, taking down Assyria as a nice little trade there. 3 versus 4, do you know? It's looking good for 6 right now.
Yeah, and the pre-play C4 as well from the Mozzie with the drone in position. I don't know if the drone is still there. Looks like it might have been destroyed, but it could give comms that when someone moves on in, that's a free C4. It's going to go off, but too late, and Clawbury is just going to get tagged up a little bit, but will be all right to carry on in the round. But Stelina is going to take down Sunja, and that's going to make things difficult for 6 Nation. It's now in a 3-on-3. They don't really have any sort of direct way into the site. They've committed very heavily to this VIP take, but haven't given themselves an alternative avenue of attack, as Skylia has control over by the white stairs.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Indeed, but you know, never say never. 3 versus 3, and well, I was going to say a lot of time to work with. There's enough time to work with if you get the move on now. The Corp's going to start making this pressure and approach onto the hookah balcony as well. It looks like they're going to go for a luggage tape and like classic British push. Stelina almost instantaneously shutting down Straub as she makes her way in towards the site as well. But again, 25 seconds on the clock, you know, they need to get a move on. Clawbreak actually going for a really long rotate. A little bit too late to be doing that, in my opinion. Needs a holding slice angle, but it's ultimately taken down by
15
Ganshila.
seconds to go.
Oh, you know, she's not. That was a beautiful trade. Clawbreak in a 1 versus 2. Can she do it? She doesn't have the diffuser, I don't think. Diffuser is down. She has to go for these kills. Get aggressive, Clawbreak. Selena getting the pick, and that's Gypsy Queens winning round number 5.
Yeah, just 6 Nation not having a concise idea of what they wanted to do beyond gain control over Penthouse and VIP, but you need to have White Stairs control and then luggage pressure as well for that to really be able to work out, deny those flanks. And then someone as well out on the hookah balcony to, again, deny the crossfire or provide a crossfire and deny rotations and make things difficult. But with 40 seconds left to go, they all kind of went, right, we'll do our own thing. We had Straw just going out onto that hookah balcony very quickly, but Claudebury was there straight afterwards. A bit confusing as to why they didn't go together and try to push on in as one. But
Attackers need to
Gypsy Queens, they're not going to complain. They've currently got 3 rounds on the defense of Coastline. Not something you see all too often, as generally it is the attack running away with it. Just time after time, and we are going to actually see Gypsy Queens go to that penthouse position, Grace.
And this is where I'm really interested, because I did want to see the setup around this kind of VIP area and how this potentially changes how this site is, because historically you really wanted to avoid penthouse. It was so easily taken, so easily taken, that it was almost an insult if people would pick penthouse, to be honest. You know, everyone knew how to approach that. Everybody knew how to approach that. So the fact that there has been this slight change, and it's such a small change, but again, I do think that can be really impactful, because you essentially extend the site more. You extend that site into, and it becomes a big, long rectangle, where potentially, you know, you don't give them that control as easily. You have these long lines of sight from the site itself into all the way through VIP. Maybe loads of people playing in VIP as well for extra safety. Again, though, is it? Oh yeah, there is someone tucked. I think it's Pink Angel there on the mute, tucked against that wall, waiting for someone to start making their way in. Patient like a snake in the grass, you know.
Only having the Maverick as the hard breacher, though, is going to make this a long, drawn-out process, getting this wall open enough for 6 Nations to be able to come on through. This is one of those instances where having another hard breacher on this map really comes in handy. You could just open up a simple hole above and then chuck a nade on through, but that is going to be a massive miss drone if that wasn't caught. Might have potentially been seen at the rotate, and yeah, that's going to be the case. Athena just walks on in, gets that kill on Pink Angel. No one from the side of Gypsy Queen there for the refrag. Mute Jam is destroyed, and wall is going to get opened on up as we have Buck on the roof as well, making absolute nightmare out of that bathroom wall. And getting 6 Nation in a good starting position.
Sirius should not have got away with that. She should not have been able to walk in and get that pick. She's also going to get a second pick onto Skylia as well. Looking very good for 6 so far. However, they do have a very overhealed and very healthy looking Stelina. As the Brook, but also the overheal from the Thunderbird as well. That is a little bit of a formidable cannon of a operator to have to go against right now. Lisa dropping into the bathroom area to apply an extra angle of pressure to this site. But against Sheila with the C4. I'm sure what intel she was going off there. Perhaps she heard a footstep, but Yezi is going to get the fix on Destroy Serious. Lena's going to clean up Sunjet as well. And this has whittled it back down to a 3 versus 3.
And Diffuser was dropped inside of that doorway. Buck will be able to pick it back up and is going to run across and try to go for the safe plant. The Nomad on the rappel is Clawbury. Gets her down and the headshot onto one more. And it's going to be the final kill coming through as well to clean that round up. And 6 Nation, while not the ideal attacking half for Coastline, you would like to walk away with the dominant position. Not going to let it slip away from them entirely, and they're going to tie it up at a 3-3 as they now move on to their defense.
Absolutely. And again, I don't know how this is gonna go, really, because again, I feel like I'm hoping it will be the same kind of weird balance that we've seen, where it just seems for some reason with these two to be more defender favored, and then we just end up in an overtime situation. I think realistically, out of all the matches tonight, this one feels like it could go to
Attackers
overtime
need
the
to
most
locate
thus
and
far.
defuse bombs.
At the same time, there's the intel that you essentially want to have. The utility rather, that you essentially want to have if you're GYPSY Queens right now. They've got the Gemini drones, the Ayana, so constant streams of intel. You've got the Flores drones coming in. As I mentioned earlier, it's not just the fact that you get, you know, that nice little bit of intel utility. You can also clear other utility with it as well. So for some of those more pivotal points of the map, that can be pretty useful. You've also got the classic Lion. The classic Lion coastline. It's a classic. Like
It's
bangers
nightmare
and mash.
inducing.
5 seconds
Bangers
to
and
go.
mash is what that is.
I'd say it's nightmare inducing, unlike
must
Bangers and
locate
Mash,
and
but it
defuse
is
the
also a
bomb.
classic, like Bangers and Mash. So it's 50% Bangers and Mash, 50% murder
Snakes.
psycho horror.
Oh. Two very different types of scared there. You were thinking Leatherface, I was thinking rattlesnake. But no, getting right stuck into it then. It looks like they're going to end up on the roof. I'm wondering if they're actually going to approach from the back room of the penthouse. It sounds like it's going to. There's that sledgehammer going through to open that hatch up for anyone that wants to use it, although it looks like no one's actually using it. At least it's there. At least it's there to be used if someone wants it, or someone wants to make it rotate at any point. I think they are going to focus getting this map control and then making their collapse towards the site. Nice and by the book, Dino. Very much by the book.
Yeah, and this is where that Lion really starts to come in handy. Is Lisa going to get caught trying to rotate away? No one's there to really deal with it initially, but it's also going to force Straub out of position, but it's going to be Sunja to get the open kill of the round, taking down Gan Sheila, putting GYPSY Queens at the disadvantage already, as Lisa's still staying inside of office. There are some pre-fires coming through towards her position, but nothing to resemble direct fire just yet, as Pink Angel's going to get that kill onto Icera and even us out 4-4.
Certainly, again, evens being the name of the game for both these teams. Pink Angel wanting none of that anymore by taking out Sunja, but presumably a trade will come through at some point. These teams are getting so evenly matched with these rounds. The Flores drone coming in pops here. It's going to help clear a lot of this utility around the area, and potentially, actually, this is quite clever. Selena's obviously sent it there so she can get whoever may
How
be
is
there.
Zia up this far? Zia was all the way up by Vaz. Sorry to cut across you there, but that is a massive position to hold. But that Vector 508 just not good enough to get those kills and land those shots, and it's going to be a quick double kill coming through from Straub to throw this back into the favor of 6IXNATION with less than a minute to go. It's now a 2 versus 3, as Skylia seems to be aware that there is one player inside the blue bar but doesn't know where. With no nades to check this close corner, it's now going to become a waiting game, and Lisa's got all the time in the world.
Time in the world indeed, and again, you've only got 30 seconds on the clock if you're GYPSY Queen, so you need to be spending less time focused on these, more time focused on how you're going to get that XP. Skylia is going to take down Straw, but Clawberry's going to trade it back onto Skylia. It's all left down to Pink Angel on a bit of a mission here. Actually, they're able to get the sneak up kill onto Lisa, and it's a 1 versus 1. Clawberry versus Pink Angel. Pink Angel does have the diffuser as well, but she doesn't know the angle that's being held by Clawberry, and there we go. 6 winning their first defensive round.
Yeah, and that puts them in a good position, as it's, I mean, that was just a hectic round, back and forth, lots of kills going either way. And yeah, eventually comes down to 6IXNATIONHQ being able to get that round, get that momentum back in their side. I mean, they did win the final round of the previous half, so it's just keeping it going along, as GYPSY Queens, they seem to have the right idea a lot of the time, but couldn't get things together. Like, for example, Yzia just being up by Vaz. That is a huge spot to hold. You put on someone with a high rate of fire gun there, they're going to win a lot of those fights, but at close quarters, Lion's gun just isn't good enough to be able to be effective in those engagements.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, good kitchen here though, and again, presumably we are going to see everyone getting upstairs, gain some of that map control. They brought the Maestro out as well, which is a nice little bit of spice. I think we do. I like seeing a Maestro. I like seeing a classic Maestro. It's not just the intel. It's that plant denial. If you do get to the late round and say you're like a Maestro in a, you're a Maestro in a 1v1 clutch and diffuser has to be planted. You don't have to go anywhere near that player. You can just like hide somewhere and get on the evil eyes and drop the good and.
Yeah. And, you have an absolute fire hose worth of bullets to just put downstream and hold anyone off at bay for about 5 seconds, it feels like. So, Maestro, an old favorite of a lot of players, as we are going to see this push start to come on through from Gypsy Queens. They're going to go for this top floor take, but we are going to see 6IXNATIONHQ. They've reinforced these outside VIP walls. Despite the fact that the objective is downstairs, that's going to make things difficult for Gypsy Queens, as they don't actually have a hard breacher. So they're going to be forced to go on in through these single doorways or drop the bathroom hatch, which is going to make things very difficult for them to be effective in this round. These have been gifted drones as well.
Yeah, certainly so. Again, they're saying that Selenia nicely and safely almost able to wake her way to 10 house. I think she is aware of the players in VIP, but again, Ganchila getting a pick onto Lisa. That's a nice start to the round for them, and it's going to start putting that pressure on 6 because they're going to be considered. Well, here we are, Straub lurking by White Stairs. You do want to make sure that you do have an escape route if it does get too hot and heavy. But again, I think that there could be. Oh, actually, this is quite nice, Isera and Straub kind of teaming up together here at the top of White Stairs. And again, this could really catch someone off guard because if they swing out at the same time and potentially take someone out.
Oh, that's a lot of utility gun. Barbed wire, Malusi, Banshee, ADS all removed at the same time as Clawberry, the only one actually on the site itself. Actually, I say that Straub has now rotated down, but they're all inside the bathroom, and this is going to get difficult as Straub just doesn't even care. Peeks on up, gets that shot onto Stelina, putting us now into a 4-on-4 as Isera gets the kill onto Skylia. And with only 4 drones left to Grace, Gypsy Queens have lost a lot of drones in this round, and Isera's going to get that kill onto Yazia, and Pink Angel with the frag onto Sunja. The intel game has to be working the way of 6 Nation. These Flores drones are going to gain some information, some semblance of knowledge, but you don't get them for a long time, and they do eventually blow up and make a nice loud noise. It's going to alert everyone that they have been spotted. So things aren't looking too hot for Gypsy Queens, as with less than 25 seconds to go, it's a 2 versus 3, and Pink Angel still just trying to drone out the site, seeing what she can find. That's a good position to drop a Flores drone in. It's going to force Clawberry out of her spot, but no one's there to challenge and get those frags. There's going to be some gunfire going back and forth. The series can get that kill onto Pink Angel and continue to fight on the doorway. The pistol's going to come on out, and the headshot for the Malusi. And Sheila goes down, and that is going to be 6IXNATIONHQ continuing that momentum.
This is the most bizarre game of Coastline, though. Like, typically, you shouldn't be doing as well on defense, but 6 are doing a very, very good job of it. Again, though, I really love the way that Gypsy Queens are trying to use some of this utility. And I think there are slight gaps to 6's defense that I would potentially consider visiting a little bit. But for the most part, again, both teams doing a really, really good job, but the defense is winning, Dino. The defense is winning. Most curious. The Yokai's coming out, though. I like it. Again, it's
classic Coastline.
Classic, isn't it? It is. It's very classic. You also obviously get the shield utility. Well, which they're choosing to put in. Actually, I can't say that word on stream. But I'm just going to call it the 90 corner. They're putting it in 90 corner with a Surya gate as well. That's quite interesting.
And it is just going to burn up a lot of utility coming through as Electrical as well going to come on out. Pink Angel is going to actually pick up that patcher. So some of this will be able to be dealt with, particularly that outside VIP wall. You know, nice and easily. As with the double hard breach, Gypsy Queen's gone from having not enough or not any hard breach at all to having all that they could possibly want. So it should make short work of clearing out VIP, but it might leave them a little bit short-handed in terms of other areas, as it's going to come down to where they want to go for this execute.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Absolutely. I mean, you would, again, you would assume that they're going to try and just get VIP control, maybe apply pressure on the window. I think you can still go a little bit classic with it. Obviously, there is the extra layer of utility to now get through, and there's not really any extension that's been created outside of just a little bit of a kill hole there. So it is quite an interesting one for me. Again, especially because that shield is set up for the approach from kind of billiards, hookah area. Skyly with a beautiful cook nade, going to take out Claude3.
Bomb located by
They don't even need to go for the kills. They don't even know to do kills. I love it when people send in a bit of utility like that. Here we go. This wall is going to get nice and firmly open up now, you know. And that is pretty much VIP control given to Gypsy now.
Yeah, the nade from below to force the Kai, well, into death. Means that you can't re-electrical that wall after the EMP goes down. So that is then the wall getting opened on up nice and easily. And now this is going to make things far more difficult for the players on 6Nation. As probably they're expecting about another 30 seconds worth of time to be wasted in trying to get that VIP wall open. And instead, Gypsy Queens are going to have a lot of momentum and a lot of opportunity to be able to take control of VIP and, well, the objective as a whole.
Absolutely, Straub holding this really long line of sight though towards the Hall of Fame area. Iceria still on this shield as well. And again, if anyone tries to peek that shield or even throw a bit of utility, there's the nice surrogate to cover it as well.
Now with a minute left to go, Lisa's going to get that kill on Pink Angel. The info was there, but the shots weren't. That's going to be Straub then following up with one more onto Yazzie. Again, Sheila's going to keep us at a 3-on-3 to take down Sunja and make things a little closer, as that has been the storyline for this game so far. But Skylia doesn't know where Lisa is, but the swing is going to come on through. Lisa on the off angle pops her head on up and gets that frag. And Sheila has worked her way deep inside of the objective. She had the fuser, could go for the plan, but it's going to be Icera downstairs with the Nitro Cell to get that frag. Selena gets the kill onto Straub. It's a 1 versus 2, but there's only 15 seconds left to go. Diffuser isn't in her hands either. And now it's just a mad dash to try and execute these last two remaining players. The beat going to come on through. Icera goes down. 5 seconds left to go. Lisa just needs to hide the band. She's going to slow her down. And when time expires, it will be 6Nation who wins the round.
Six aren't messing about anymore, are they? Well, they weren't messing about from the get-go. I feel like that's gonna be an interesting one, really, because again, it's, you know, we're on match point now, and again, a very unusual coastline. The defense coming through strong, but Six, especially that last round, you could really see the way that they'd kind of fought out the way that they wanted to defend that. Again, Penthouse, not the most favorable of sites historically, but they'd kind of had that really nice utility setup around the 90 corner, and it just looked really, really nice. Just very much did look very, very nice indeed. And that C4 kill was just gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, just it's the classic. We're getting a lot of classics here. We're getting the Maestro being brought out, the Echo being brought out, and then just the playing the Nitro inside of the downstairs bathroom to go for the kill on whoever's trying to gain that control. Is what you love to see, and that is gonna put 6Nation in, well, the driver's seat in match point position, and going back to the favored defender site to close this one out.
Yes, indeed.
Although it did come down to a 1v1 last time.
It did, yeah, it did. But again, realistically, you know, there is that Thunderbird utility, and I think if they position that in places where perhaps they want to just make sure someone is relatively close by to it, so they can kind of res themselves or give themselves a little
Attackers
tactical
locate and
boost here and
defuse
there.
the bomb.
The funniest thing I'm finding about the Thunderbird so far as well, especially in comp, is just the fact that it can also help the attackers. I think a lot of us do forget that at times, but that is something that I think is gonna. Well, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as how the Zofia with Stan would be, but I think there's gonna be moments, hopefully, at points where rounds are gonna go in completely different, unexpected ways, just because of that utility.
Grenade out.
Only time can tell.
I do believe we did see around something akin to that week. I want to say 4 on Villa. There was a moment where it was a 2 versus
yes.
2 versus 2 because of the Thunderbird revive. That was how the defenders were able to win that round on out. So we've already seen once how impactful it can be, and I'm sure we'll get a couple more opportunities to see that before all is said and done here. But Clawberry is going to try and get this game said and done as quickly as possible. A nice headshot onto one, but Ganshila is there, you know, it's just a season of giving coming up soon. She's going to hand something back in return.
Ganshila, Father Christmas confirmed. 4 versus 4, Straw working her way up pool 5 stairs to get a cheeky little bit of revive. This is a nice place to actually put that utility, to be honest, considering how powerful that positioning can be. Azia's going to get the pick onto Sunja as well. I believe that was that vertically?
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Yes.
Yes, indeed it was. Again, half the time gone, and already, you know, both teams doing a pretty good job. Again, this is what I mean with these two teams. It just feels a lot more even Stevens than it has been for the rest of this evening at times. And match point, the pressure's on. Gypsy Queen are doing a very, very good job of keeping that pressure under wraps. They are still playing like it is nothing. They are still working everything through the motion. Skyly, a beautiful pick on Twiceria. Actually, that's a slight wrong time. Ganshila with the spin onto Lisa. It's all left down to Straw here on the Thunderbird. Flash utility coming through. But again, I'm not sure if this positioning is the best one to get. Again, you can be predicted to be here at this point.
And the shots aren't going to land anyway, as there's going to be Straw going down to the swinging Iana. I mean, yeah, just a good take coming through from Gypsy Queen 6 Nation. Nothing that they really had in their bag of tricks could answer back. And yeah, that's going to be Gypsy Queens keeping themselves alive in this one for just another round. And potentially one more if they're able to be successful on this kitchen service attack, which was much more in the side of 6 Nation when it was played previously.
Certainly so. And again, Gypsy Queens, they would have to get 2 rounds in a row to bring this to overtime. And I think 6, realistically, they've just lost that round. They don't want them to take any more rounds because I really don't think 6 want this to go to overtime at all. They wanted this to be over and done with now. We're seeing the pulse come through here as well. So extra C4, but also a lot of intel utility there. It's not just the fact that he can go vertically and, you know, see where these players are above and give that information to Isera, or, you know, use that information themselves. It's the fact that you can go to a lot of these external walls and get that information as to where that approach towards the map in general is really coming from. And certainly on a map like Coastline with its size and things like that, it's probably going to be a lot more impactful than we think. So hopefully Clawberry can stay alive and get that intel for her teammates. We'll see what we can do. Again, a very nice setup already, and very classic with the little maestro.
Yeah, the pulse down here is, or can be, really impactful. If you play it inside of the sort of bathroom pantry area, then it gives you the potential to throw a C4 on up at anyone trying to gain that verticality. You can also use it to tell where the rotates are coming from, because it can be quite quick to go from the service door around to the kitchen window. And so just keeping an eye on that with the pulse scanner through the wall helps make sure that you're on top of things. We are going to see Skylia try to chuck a nade on up. It's going to go through. It's going to open up a nice little hole in the side of that theater wall, but isn't actually going to net anything in terms of kills or damage. As Asira looking like she wants to go for a bit of a run out here and ruin someone's day outside of that service doorway.
Absolutely. And again, this is where the intel game is really going to matter, Gypsy Queens, because they have to hunt down every single player of 6IXNATIONHQ here. Lisa in the VIP area, getting Bolshevik against Shelia, waiting patiently for her to come into her crossfire. Realistically, I think Lisa might play a little bit safe. But again, if Yazia chooses to push onto that doorway area as well from the corridor, it could be a little bit of a nice pinch position for the attackers.
Lisa, in reality, doesn't need to move too much and can waste a lot of time as Gypsy Queens, they only have about 1:30 left to work with as drones and intel still trying to come on through. The ADS is going to burn up more utility from the attack as Lisa is able to just stay safe sitting behind the bookshelves for now. Straub as well is able to have a lot of movement because of the amount of time and attention that Lisa was taking up. Now with Lisa dead, Straub is an unknown factor and is going to be able to have an impact. Skylia as well has been able to get that kill onto Icera. It's going to make things difficult as Straub is now going to be trapped at the top of these white stairs between a rock and a proverbial hard place in Skylia, waiting for the play to come on through. The Gemini scanner is going to get a bit of information onto Straub's position, but it's going to be Ganshila rotating in from the master bedroom to get that kill. And now it's a 4 versus 2. Gypsy Queens, 40 seconds left to go is plenty of time to work with in this situation, but Sunja's not going to give it to them for free, and she's going to get that frag onto Yazia. Aubrey doing a good job of eating up as many drones as possible and holding down this kind of service entrance way. No C4 left available to be used from the Pulse. And, I mean, we are seeing Sunja put in a lot of work from him, but Skylia somehow able to hit that shot. Ganshila pushing on in through the bathroom, gets the kill onto Clawberry and Grace. What we thought was going to be 6IXNATION getting a rather quick end to this one is starting to look a little bit dicey as Gypsy Queens aren't letting this one slip away.
Absolutely not. And again, yes, they are still on match point, but if they get one more round on the board, we are going to overtime, Dino. The first overtime of this evening, and already the scoreline is very different to the rest of the matches, the way the rest of the matches have gone. It's an interesting one, really. It's very much an interesting one because I think, but especially that last round, there were just, again, a few squiffy positioning moments where, yes, I know there have been changes to this map, but I think there are a few moments where players were forgetting about certain changes, and that actually there is an angle that can get me now where I am, and I need to be aware of that. And I need to be, if I hear an audio cue from a certain direction, actually I need to be paying a little bit more attention because of those changes. So again, a little bit squiffy on both sides, a little bit squiffy.
Yeah, but you know, we are seeing some strong performances that come through from individuals, particularly on the side of Gypsy Queens. Ganshila, Skylia, and Stelina all sitting at double-digit kills. And Icera over on the side of 6IXNATION with 12 of her own, leading the way. I mean, it's not just kills in this game, but it's coastline. It always helps.
I mean, yeah, this is the thing. It's one of those maps where you expect it to be very fast and furious and aggressive. People just going in, and it is a bit of a gunfight slam fest. Again, we did see some spawn peaks in the first half, but then it kind of died off, and I'm a little bit disappointed by that, to be honest, Dino. This is certainly one of those maps where I do like to see people hanging out of the windows and just and flying out of the windows, to be honest. I think this is certainly, again, because of the size of it, yes, maybe it is a little bit riskier to get pinched if people are already inside of the map, but certainly at the start of the round, you can go for little aggressive runouts if you want to. I really think at this point it would catch people off guard as well, because you've got the feelers out. You know everyone's playing a little bit safe, a little bit passive, a little bit too by the book.
But how much do you have to lose if you're 6IXNATION? That's an overtime situation that you do not want to be looking at. If you're Gypsy Queens, that could be the whole game lost, as Icera is going to get the opening kill in this round, taking down Skelina, who's trying to go for the pinch onto the player inside of Sunrise. Playing behind the bar is Straub. She's already used her C4, But Clawbreeze there covering her back, and that's Stelina going down. And Sheila is still inside a kitchen, potentially able to catch the rotate, but her teammates are dropping like flies around her. There may not be a rotate to catch if she leaves it too long before making a move.
This is it, right, as well. This proves how important positioning is. Iseria being on cool vibe stairs is essentially keeping the player in Sunrise alive this entire time, because, you know, you just can't... You need to have these crossfires held. You need to make sure that, you know, no one can go and try and get that crossfire advantage on you. And yeah, I think this has been a very, very solid performance with 6 thus far in the round. 55 seconds on the clock though, a 3 versus 5. Looks like Ganshili is going for the old razzle dazzle, going for something a little bit different. Potentially making her way through luggage to start getting aggressive there, joining Pink Angel on this southern side of the map as well, while potentially, you know, creating some space for Yazia to go for a plant.
Potentially the drones are going to call out the flank coming through from Lisa. It's going to be interesting to see if she chooses to go for it, if the confidence is riding potentially a bit too high in this one, as there is a player waiting directly at the top of the white stairs just to the right of the peak. Yazia isn't able to land the shots. The flashbang goes on through as the stun from the Zofia comes out as well, but that has wasted the last 30 seconds of time that GYPSY Queens really had to work with, as now they're into the final 15 seconds of the round. Zorba's going to get the kill onto one. Clawbury, another Ganshila is able to get the kill back onto Clawbury, but this is now a 1 versus 4. The bullets, the maestros, the explosions. It's like a Michael Bay movie, but the winners are going to be 6IXNATIONHQ.
6IXNATIONHQ 7-5 victory over GYPSY Queens. A GYPSY Queens who have shown up tonight and actually done a really, really good job. This was insanely close. I genuinely thought this was going to go to overtime, Dino, to be honest. But that last round was very, very solid from 6. And this is sometimes a frustrating thing. It's like, that was really amazing. Now do that more rounds. No, really good performance by 6 there. Really good performance indeed. Again, potentially just a few little knots that need ironing out here, there, and everywhere. And ultimately, you know, that's going to help them go further up the table. They were in 6th place, and they've actually come in to 5th now, I believe it is. I think they're 5th now, yeah. That they are still in the mid-table, but they are firmly securing their position higher and higher through that mid-table. And as I say, next week, they will be playing against Frenemy, which is going to be a very interesting map due to that roster change. And again, speaking of Frenemy, Dino,
They're up next.
they are indeed up next. They are playing Delta Project in the final matchup of this evening. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.